here on this earth? Did I take more than I gave? Did I look out for the people, or did I do it all for fame? Legend is Exodus, searching for euphoria, trudging through the mud to find the present, no ignoring us. Got 20,000 deep up in the street like we some warriors. My mama told me never bow your head.
I feel glorious, glorious. Got a chance to start again. I was born for this, born for this. It's who I am, not could have again. I made it through the darkest part of the night, and now I see the sunrise. Now I feel glorious, glorious. I feel glorious, glorious.
I'm feeling glorious. The crib looking victorious. You know that we've been going it since we hopped out that DeLorean.
You know, Daniel, I tell you, that clip of my son in Omaha, you told me the other day, it just never gets old. But one day he's going to be running around with purple and gold the right way he should be with our guest of this night. But Daniel, it was fun to talk to Dakota last night. It was fun to talk golf, but now it's LSU baseball, baby. It's the cream of the crop.
You smell that? It's baseball season, dude.
It's baseball season. Well, without further ado, Mick Paul, how are you doing tonight?
Great. I appreciate you guys having me on.
I mean, when you have the cousin of Jake and Logan Paul, Daniel, I mean, the pleasure is all ours.
Exactly.
Look, he says nothing. Crickets. No, that's a lie. But we're gonna run with it at some point.
That's the rumor around town.
There you go. But we gotta break the ice, get into this thing before we get into your story. Our guest last night was not the biggest college football fan, so I'm gonna try this again, Daniel. Tell me you've watched the college football playoff.
Yeah, I've been keeping up for sure.
All right, so more teams got added in. It's not been the closest of games, but are you still happy with their decision to expand it out?
Yeah, I am. I think I think it makes it interesting, and I think it's cool to kind of give those guys an opportunity to kind of, I guess, be in the spotlight a little bit and kind of get that experience of, I guess, playoff football and make some memories and give teams the opportunity to make a run deep in the playoffs and see where they can go. I think it's cool looking at like Ohio State right now. They had some adversity and struggled a little bit, but to be able to kind of get on that roll and keep on going, it's been awesome. The committee, or not the committee, but some people were kind of questioning whether Oregon should have had to play Ohio State because they were on a hot streak and X, Y, and Z. But it's been awesome to see kind of the competition.
Does it remind you with the Ohio State thing? Does it remind you of 2023 LSU baseball last game of the season, just like they did with Michigan? Mississippi State obviously lost that series, had everybody questioning, right? And then LSU in the postseason in baseball was absolutely money, kind of like Ohio State. Sometimes you need that punch in the mouth to get you to where you need to go.
I mean, poor Ryan Day. They've been punching that dude in the mouth for years.
Right. Seriously.
He can't do enough. I mean, it's either national title or bust for that guy.
Yeah. That rivalry is something else too. Michigan, Ohio State. I mean, crazy. So
yeah, I will take though. Daniel hasn't been there yet, Mick, so I don't know. Tiger Stadium at night. I still, we had some games that didn't go well. I was obviously at Alabama, but Ole Miss did. But been going to the game since 2009 at night. And Daniel, I'll tell you, it's still nothing better when the Tigers are at the top of football. I'm just telling you, man. It's not even being biased. It really is the cream of the crop.
I mean, just because everybody's singing neck. That's
that clip I brought up, Mick. I don't know if you've seen it. I put it on Twitter. I forgot all about it. It was our original episode with Paul. I mean, he'd been at LSU for like 2 weeks, and Randy, our other co-host, asked him if he sings neck at the football games, and he looks as dead. He's dead serious. He goes, "I don't know what that song is."
Yeah,
and funny. It's so funny. And I was like, I forgot. I mean, he was so green to LSU. He didn't know nothing about it.
Yeah, you gotta remember too. Or the crowd is screaming "play neck," so it's one of the two.
I mean, you got to remember too. Paul is from Air Force, very regimented and structured, and he gets to LSU and like he's thrown neck at him. Like he's probably shell shocked.
Let me ask you, and then we can move on to Mick's story. if you were in Tiger Stadium with me, embracing the atmosphere and the environment, and they were singing it, and let's say because you don't like Ole Miss, let's say it was Ole Miss, would you partake in singing Nick?
Yeah, of course. I think you have to.
There you go.
I mean, why would I have nothing against singing vulgar lyrics? Of course I sing that. As long as it ain't my team on the other side, I'm good. I'm good. Oh man, Mick, dude, let's jump into this, man. Obviously you're a highly renowned, highly recruited, big time player, but we got to get your backstory. Got to know about you, the man, the person. So, where are you from? Where's home for you?
Yeah, so I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. Grew up there my whole life. My parents actually aren't from there though. My mom is from Montana, Butte area, and then my dad is from West Virginia. So
we got all new states on here.
Yeah. So they funny story, but they met at a grocery store in Utah and just settled down. And I got 2 siblings. We all grew up there, and yeah, so that's kind of home for us.
Nice. Utah. What's if I went, visited home with you, what's the one thing that you would be like, you got to do this. We got to do this.
Man, it depends on the time of year. Are we going summer or winter?
Your favorite thing to do, like just like the one thing that's gonna put it over the top and sell me on.
Daniel, you might as well say summer because you don't do cold weather. So tell them you're going during the summer.
So I can embrace cold weather if I know, like, if I'm going to Utah, like I know there it's going to be cold. Like if I'm going to the beach and it's cold, like no.
Right. Yeah. To answer your question, I think, man, my favorite thing growing up was probably sledding. Honestly, I mean, we did the skiing and snowboarding, we did all that, but I mean, sledding is probably one of my favorite memories growing up. Just like Christmas time, we had a huge hill by our house, so we would just like build jumps and sled, and yeah, that's kind of my favorite thing probably to do, especially in the winter.
Every kid built a bike ramp, and it was probably the most shakiest bike ramp. I could imagine you guys building sled ramps to go.
Exactly.
I mean, if you have the right kind of snow, I guess you can build a nice little cushiony landing in case you things go south. But man, you get going down the right hill and it's icy enough, man. You get some speed.
Yeah. No, it's probably the safest thing. Yeah.
But you talk about family. You talk about mom and dad. Kind of everybody coming from all over. You got brothers or sisters?
Yes. Oh, I have a brother who's 24. He played D3 soccer at Bowdoin up in Maine. And then my sister, she is 27, and she went to Duke a couple years ago, graduated. And
you said Maine. Y'all thrive on being in the craziest of places.
I know, all over.
Your poor parents trying to keep up with y'all is just too much.
They're running around for sure. Yeah. But yeah, so my siblings set a great example for me growing up. Very hardworking. My sister was the oldest. She kind of set the bar high,
I mean, she went to Duke. Like,
yeah, she's smart. She's working in fashion now in New York City. So, wow. She's living life. But yeah, same with my brother. I mean, he really pushed me on the athletic side. Just kind of, I guess, kind of what he went through and kind of the lessons he learned, he really passed on to me. And so I'm really grateful for that. And to just be able to have them out here now and for them to come to Tiger games and whatnot, it's awesome. So,
well, you're propping him up right now, but I got to know, who's the better athlete of the two of you?
The better athlete? I don't know. He might be faster. I might give him that. We usually have maybe like an annual race at some point, but I'll give him that.
Man, an annual race, like, is it like a sprint? Is it like a distance race?
Yeah,
like,
just a short sprint. Yeah.
Nope. Not happening. Not happening. That ski, that sledding hill that y'all go down, y'all can run up that, sprint up that.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna tell you, Daniel. Me and my daughter, when we were in Nashville the other night, sprinted up the parking garage hill. It went straight slanted from 1 to the 3rd floor. And man, I ran it one time, and it was for fun with her, and I instantly regretted it. I was like, dude, I'm too old to be doing this.
I'm telling you, like, you put some elevation on some sprints, like, you're changing the game for sure.
Definitely.
So a lot of athletes in the family tree is full of athletic prowess. Any LSU alum in that tree?
No, not really. But I mean, randomly enough, when I got here my freshman year, my dad reached out to some cousins that he hadn't been in touch with for a while, and it turns out that my second cousin, she just married Antoine Duplantis a couple years ago. So yeah, she's like my second cousin, kind of a random connection. But yeah, that's kind of about it for family members.
And they hyped it up. They hyped it up on his SID page. Jalen said he got 3 cousins that are LSU graduates.
Dang, Logan and Jake.
Yeah. I heard they went to LSU.
Yeah, that rumor's out there.
That's where that NIL money's coming from for football. Bet.
Prime's going to be on that football field and that baseball outfield wall watch.
It has to be.
Oh man, who was your biggest influence growing up?
My biggest influence, man, I think my parents. Just off the bat, I think my dad worked extremely hard growing up, building a company, and he was traveling a lot and just really working hard, and set a great example for us. First off, obviously in his work ethic, but also just how he treated people and really just served others. His character really stands out looking back, and likewise, my mom, stayed home with us and raised us, and was just a great presence in the household. And they just really instilled a faithful life in us and my siblings, and really taught us a lot about the faith, and that's something I carry with me today. And so they were definitely the biggest influences, I think, growing up. But I was lucky to have a lot of great coaches. In any sport I really played, whether it was basketball or baseball or soccer, a lot of my coaches, pretty much all of them, just really pushed me, and the whole team just really expected the most out of us. And I mean, practices were hard, like just a lot of that sort of adversity kind of built me into the player and person I am today.
You listed, numerous sports. Did playing multiple sports growing up really help your, overall athleticism?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I said, I played basketball pretty much until high school, and then soccer maybe until 6th or 7th grade. And then me and my brother, we also did like the local golf league, down the street. So, I mean, I'm grateful for that because I can go out to the golf course and shoot a decent round. But yeah, I think that definitely helped my overall athleticism. Just, a diverse range of emotions and accelerating, decelerating, stuff like that. So definitely helped me out.
Well, all of that, all those people, it kind of, like they say, you got to have a village to raise a kid. Well, you got to have a village to, cultivate a Division I baseball player, because, all of that factored in because you were ranked the #1 outfielder in Utah for the class of 2022. You batted .470 as a senior at Olympus High. You had 9 homers, 34 walks, 26 steals with only 12 strikeouts, first team All-State. And you were a member of the National Honor Society, doing all the things athletically and academically, a student athlete, all the way around.
His sister, man.
Exactly. I had to. That's that competition.
She set the bar, and mom was like, look here, Mick, if you don't get your stuff together and be like your sister, you're out of here, bro.
I mean, think about that, though, Daniel. How often do we have, he said he had one that really inspired him in each, he had the best of both worlds when it came to being pushed academically and athletically.
For real. He didn't have a choice. He was going to be good at something, and it looks like he had to be good at both of them. But talk to me a little bit about baseball in Utah. What's the competition level like? Because I don't think we've had anybody from Utah, So what's it like, playing baseball in Utah? What's the comp like?
Yeah, no, it's competitive for sure. I kind of think it's like a little bit of a sleeper state just because, you kind of do have the winter, and it's hard to play year round. So I wouldn't say baseball is as big as some of the warmer states just because, guys tend to play basketball in the winter, stuff like that. But no, it's really competitive. And, we do have I feel like we have had a lot of guys, compete at a high level in college. I played with Braden Taylor a couple times, like playing up with him when I was maybe a freshman or something like that. And to see him kind of succeed at the level he did, he was a part of my baseball academy too in Utah. And to see him really just like excel and to get drafted high and he's killing it. So just
Did
to
you
like
ever have like travel ball where you were able to get out of the colder weather and go play somewhere else?
not really in the winter. So, I mean, I would say for the 4 or 5 years before I got into college, my winter, there was a program called Peak Performance in my baseball academy, and it's pretty much just like a lot of spark training, weightlifting, stuff like that. You do like hit for an hour and then lift for an hour.
They practice curling in the winters.
Exactly. And we go outside, curl, and then we hit for a little bit. But yeah, so it's mostly indoor stuff, kind of like development piece, lifting. You kind of have to treat it the right way because like you can kind of see now, like a lot of those guys who come from those warmer states, like they're just playing year round, like seeing live pitching all the time. So coming from a colder state, you kind of have to hold yourself accountable and just get the work in that you can and see live arms and really push yourself in the weight room because I mean, that's an advantage I think I could see is like you might not be able to play as much, but that means you can get in the weight room more and really push yourself and work on your speed, your acceleration, lifting, stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, and if you're throwing off a mound indoors, you feel like you're bringing so much heat.
Exactly.
Like it's so deceiving on the inside, but I mean that's all you got. You got to make the best of it. But if you guys have a nice encompassing program of weights and conditioning, and you got baseball stuff and other stuff that you're throwing in there with it, like definitely helps. But with all the accolades that you were able to obtain as a player, obviously the next line of progression for you as a player is to go to college. So why was it LSU?
Yeah, the short answer is Coach Johnson, really. I was committed to him at Arizona. And the academic piece in high school was really a big thing for me. Kind of looking the academic route or, the Ivy League. And I had a couple coaches with mutual connections between Coach Johnson or Coach Yeski. And, they kind of pointed that out as an opportunity at Arizona. And so my junior year, I ended up committing there to Coach Johnson, and I was committed for about a year, and then he got the job at LSU and took some time to consider that and ended up following him. So just from the get-go, I knew he was the coach I wanted to play for. He had the character piece. He always held his word with me. And I kind of just got the sense that he really pushed his players and wanted the best for them. And I mean, that's exactly what I see now that I'm here. He really cares about each player and also their kind of long-term career. He wants to build the best team and best individuals to, have success in professional baseball. And so, yeah, it was really Coach Johnson. And also choosing LSU, I think I wanted to kind of stretch myself a little bit and I wanted to be the best player I can be. And so I felt like the development piece at LSU was the best with Coach Johnson. And, kind of just you're facing the best competition in the country. So that was kind of the deal breaker.
Absolutely. And I mean, it speaks a lot to Coach Johnson, to your point. Like so many guys that were committed to Arizona did come over to LSU. But, talking about stretching yourself, the culture shock. I spend more time in Louisiana than anywhere else. And I know it is a place of its own. I haven't been to Utah, but I can just imagine the differences. So how much of a culture shock was it for you coming from Utah to Louisiana?
Right. It was pretty significant, I think. I wouldn't say I got here and immediately I was like, wow, this is a lot different. But I think it's just been a continuation of like learning more about the culture here and everything like that. And also just always putting up with the warm weather. You only really get a couple weeks of winter in December and January versus Utah.
So what's it? I'm curious because it's cold as crap right now in Mississippi. What is it like? Is it warm right now?
No, it's one of those cold weeks. It's anywhere from 35 to 45, which feels a lot colder.
One of those rare times for sure. Because I was there for, like I said, the later fall games into the football season, and it was still hot as crap in that stadium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's usually pretty hot.
What's your favorite food item that you've grown to love in Louisiana?
I would say jambalaya, probably. Antoine and his wife cooked me some a couple months ago, and I mean, I don't think it was the first jambalaya I had, but it was close. I mean, I really haven't ventured out into the the food that much. I mean, I'm kind of a picky
I
eater.
will make sure this year, the Tennessee series, Hot Rod is doing a major tailgate, going to be cooking all the good stuff. I'll make sure we get everything in to you. Make sure, because
Perfect.
he makes, man, that's why I tell people, they're like, why is the Tennessee series such a big one this year? I was like, it's not just about top 10, possibly top 5 teams going off. I was like, the tailgate is elite, man. When you can do the food and the baseball, that's what makes Louisiana culture just that much different. But, you know, talking about stretching yourself from a baseball standpoint, you know, shameless plug, Daniel. I think about him joining Cruz, Skeens, White, Floyd, Morgan, Beloso, Joe Bear, just naming all the guys who came on the show. But if you haven't listened to their episodes, do it. But you joined the most talented roster undoubtedly in baseball. It shows as these guys are on MLB rosters. You know, is that intimidating when you get there and you look around and see all these guys?
Yeah, I mean, it was. Yeah, I don't know if intimidating is the right word. Maybe a little bit. I think it was kind of a check as to like, hey, I really got to be accountable here, and like, I mean, all the guys you listed, like their character is definitely one of their strong suits, and so just knowing that, like, I kind of got to be on top of my stuff, and like we have a goal that we want to achieve, and all these guys are working for it. Like, you know, it's kind of like get on the bus or get off. Like you got to be in line with that. And I'm really grateful, you know, stepping into that team, because I really learned a lot from those guys, and not just on the baseball piece, but just how to carry yourself, how to pursue your long-term goals, you know, sacrificing to achieve those. And, you know, it's just awesome to kind of keep up with those guys as much as I can when they're playing, but also seeing them when they come back in the wintertime. You know, Paul's back right now, Dylan, Joe Bear, Dugas.
Paul, they put him on the TV screen at the gymnastics meet, and I don't know why they do that. He's not going to smile for you, and really, it's just it makes it look like LSU gymnastics is boring.
He looked like he was having the worst day.
I know. He looked hungover.
I mean, he looked like his dog died, and he looked like he had a long night, and he just.
But I'll tell you, Mick, the first
sad.
time he was at a gymnastics meet last year, I was sitting right on the same row as him and Garrett Edwards, and that's just, you know, Paul, that's just him. Like, literally, Libby was performing on the floor, and like, he didn't smile, he didn't clap, he didn't do nothing. He just sat there, 1,000-yard stare. Meanwhile, like, Garrett's standing up, clapping and everything. I'm like, man, Paul, you can't even fake it.
Man,
it's hilarious.
If my girlfriend was competing, like, I'd be going crazy. I wouldn't be giving away.
Well, he seems to be doing just fine. So you know what? I'm just gonna let Paul do what Paul does.
Yeah,
Paul, congratulations. You are the rookie of the year. Thank you.
Exactly.
But that shows that it wasn't nothing to do with gymnastics.
No, that's him, man. That's how he is.
But talking about all those guys, and you were getting to be a part of that. I think what we've learned, Daniel, is everybody talking about what they're able to take from their freshman year and learning. And I just can't think of a better learning environment. You know, what would you say, you know, you learned the most just from all of those? You talked about some of it, but if you could say one thing that was just the most valuable piece of information you took, what was it? Yeah,
that's a great question. Honestly, I could probably think all night and give you a million different answers. I think for me personally, the faith aspect for sure. You know, I kind of realized that baseball is a tough game to kind of just rely on, I guess, and like to be dependent on. So I think, you know, having my faith tested and being able to really grow in that aspect. I mean, it's given me a lot of wisdom and I guess just like almost endurance to kind of finish the race that's set before me. You know, because there's a lot of ups and downs, and the ups can be really high and the lows can be really low. So to kind of have that faith in Christ to just, you know, just pretty much accept exactly where I am as his will for me in that moment. That's probably the biggest thing, because just, it all goes by fast. You know, I can't even really like almost remember a lot of my freshman year. It feels like it went that fast, you know? So just to kind of appreciate where I am now and just be thankful for all that I'm blessed with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do think the athletes, especially baseball, with it being such a game of failure, those that have faith to rely on, it's such a big deal because like you said, you are going to have the ups and downs. But the up is, man, you guys won a national championship. I was at the ring ceremony, saw you, out there, just like every other guy, big smile on their face. You go there with being told you're going to be able to compete for a national championship. But the idea that your freshman year, man, you get to actually get that ring, what was that feeling like?
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, just to kind of see the culmination of all the hard work we put in and just all the like intentional work we put in, not just in practice, but in building the team chemistry and building I guess the mindset that it takes to kind of weather the storm, that we had to for that year. So it was awesome. I mean, it was definitely a surreal experience, but yeah, just kind of for me, like being able to see that, it kind of gives me kind of the drive to just push through adversity and know that, it all has its place. It's all for a reason. So just knowing that, there's still a light at the end of the tunnel through adversity.
Absolutely. Well, just make sure you cherish that ring. Daniel's got a national championship baseball ring, and he said he'd sell it to me for $100,000.
What? That's crazy. It's priceless.
I was trying to tell him, man, but he says he's got kids to take care of.
Yep, not my world. Everybody's got a price.
So talking about the downs, man, let's get into it. The next year, medical red shirt. For those who don't know, what was the injury?
Yeah, I'm guessing a lot of listeners might not be able to keep up as much, but it was called thoracic outlet syndrome. So I went into the ER with just a swollen arm. Unfortunately, I wasn't wise enough to not lift that day. I did go in and lift, but I went to my trainers and they sent me to an ER, and pretty much my first rib was pinching the vein that went to my arm. So I had a couple blood clots pop up, and I was admitted to the ICU for 4 days with a pulmonary embolism. And then, had a bunch of procedures done in there, and then went home for the weekend, came back. They took out my first rib, and then did a couple more procedures. And yeah, I was in cardiovascular that week for another 4 days. And then yeah, I was put on blood thinners for 6 months. So it was a long kind of chaotic journey, but
I'll be honest with you, Daniel. We were talking about the numbers last night. 505th guest. We ain't never heard an injury like that.
Exactly.
I mean, that's wild, dude. Like, help me understand that. Like, you're just fine 1 minute, and then the next minute your ribs pinching a vein that creates a pulmonary embolism, that creates blood clots, that creates this storm of just dominoes falling. Like, that is wild. That is absolutely wild. Like, I've never heard of that happening. And like, what are the odds? Like, was there anything you did to create that happening, or was there anything you could do to have prevented that, or is that just something that just was going to happen regardless?
For me, regardless, it was just repetition and just the overhead motion, repeated motion, just kind of caused that I guess compression on that vein. But yeah, I'm just thankful they caught it when they did, and my trainers were great in getting me rehabbed, and the doctors and the nurses.
How long was that process of rehabbing from it?
It was about the whole 6 months. So I mean, it's a quick turnaround for the surgery they do. I mean, the surgery is pretty
pretty good. 6 months probably feels like an eternity for you as far as baseball, because you're used to playing it every single day.
Yeah, it took a lot for me to just like be able to take a step back, and I mean, my mom was harping on me like, hey, you gotta take it slow, like you gotta take care of yourself and just kind of trust the process. So
what were the symptoms like? How did you know something was wrong?
I just woke up one day. It was right after we got back from Arkansas. I just woke up and my arm was just swollen. Like, it just felt like I worked out, and I mean, I didn't really think anything of it, and I went and lifted and called my mom, and she's like, yeah, make sure you go see your trainers about it. And then they took a look at me and they knew something was up, and so they sent me in. Yeah. But
I mean, it's crazy, but that's once again coming back around to your faith. A lot of times in the moment, and we've had a lot of guys who are athletes who do really rely on their faith. In the moment, it's really tough, but when you just kind of take a step back and see it, like you said, just being thankful that you had it, and really coming off a crazy, wild, long national championship season, just a chance to just kind of probably step back mentally. I imagine was probably a little bit refreshing, just because you'd probably been going nonstop since you got to school.
Yeah, it was nice to kind of definitely take a step back, and I gained a lot of perspective just being able to, like you said, just one moment everything seems fine, and then the next it's just like something you could have never expected. And I'm really thankful, because I felt like during that, whether I was in the hospital or whatever, like no matter the procedure, the test, like there was just like a piece that far beyond understanding that just I felt like just covered me and wrapped me. And there was really no like anxiety that I had. I kind of knew that whatever the outcome was, that it was God's providence. So just being able to be at peace during that time. And so yeah, I'm really thankful for it.
Absolutely. So when it comes to getting LSU baseball players on here, a lot of times it's really decided by the players that come on before, because I want to have the whole team. And Daniel will tell you, we had back-to-back guests throw your name out there when we asked the same question. We said, who are guys who this fall have really stood out to you? And both Anderson and Curiel said your name. So that's when I immediately hit you up. And then, to no surprise, the first fall scrimmage I go to, you hit a home run. So, man, clearly you have recovered and you're feeling good, man. Talk to me just about how good this fall felt and how you felt like you did.
Yeah. I mean, first off, Kate and Derek, those are, guys that I really respect. And I mean, the work ethic they have and just the way that they went about their business this fall was awesome. Yeah, it was, if you took me back six months before the fall and told me that, I was going to compete and have good at bats and, stuff like that, I would have been ecstatic. So, just being able to have the recovery I did and, just be able to get out on the field once again, I think that was the biggest thing, just being able to keep it simple and just be grateful to play the game again. Cause it comes to an end faster than we all think it will. So, just being able to take it one day at a time and, go out and just compete against great arms and, again, just stretch myself and see what I'm capable of and, just try to be the best player I can. So,
yeah. And let me ask you, obviously the freshman year, you only get so many, games played because of the upperclassmen in front of you. Then you got the medical redshirt year, and then coming in this year, there's probably no more greater depth on any team than there is LSU's roster. And so knowing you're going to have to compete, but unlike a lot of guys where, they consider going to other places, man, you stayed with your commitment to Coach Johnson. You stayed where you feel like, you can make a major impact and grow as a player. So how important was it for you, knowing that you're going to stay at LSU where you're competing? I know that outfield, man, there's 80 of you guys right now who could start, and there's only 3 positions. So just that whole competition mentality amongst your team.
Yeah. I think it, I think it just builds us into a better team almost because, you just got to show up every day and know that, your best is kind of expected of you. But yeah, I think just having the depth that we have, it's again, like it kind of just keeps me accountable and reminds me that, especially down the road, if I want to play professional baseball, it's like it's not going to come easy. Like there's always going to be top prospects or talented guys. So just being able to kind of stick to my work and trust my work. And really just focusing on the mindset piece too, personally, like the past 3 years, I feel like I've come a long way. And just being able to be a consistent individual and person who shows up to the field every day. And then still working on the, the baseball aspect and really fine tuning my craft. But yeah, I think whether it's the depth or the competition, I think it really just brings out the best in each player, if you let it, and just kind of allowing that to almost kind of be an advantage in your story. quote I like is everything kind of happens for you, not to you. So kind of just being able to see how something might be able to mold you into a better player and individual down the road is kind of always what I've been focusing on.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, it's something that I really love, that a guy who's willing to work and whatever happens, but not going to run to another team just because maybe there's a chance that there's a opportunity, or there's more opportunities there. But I'll tell you, Mick, people have been asking me what's my projected starting lineup, and I tell them when it comes to LSU, I honestly don't know. I said the amount of depth at every position is just crazy. I was like, and I said this, make every chance that your name and number are called count, man, because there's another guy hungry, ready right behind you.
Yeah. I used to tell my players, you should embrace the fact that we're going to bring in the best of the best to play here, because it's going to force you to level up. It's going to force you to elevate your game. And being at LSU, it's no different. Like, you're going to get the best of the best coming in, and regardless of where they play or what position or who they are, you always got to focus and control what you can control, like your effort, what you put in, what you pull out of every day. And make the great thing about what you're saying is, like, yeah, I got to be accountable to myself. Like, being at this place holds me accountable for me doing the things that I need to do that reach the standard that LSU baseball expects. So I don't expect anything different. Jim talks about the starting lineup could be anybody, but I know one thing: Mick Paul's going to be in there.
I appreciate that.
Look, I think, honestly, I think you could look me up and I could tell you maybe one spot I would say confidently, and that's Jared Jones at first base. Outside of that, I'm telling you, I got nothing. But I got breaking news, non-baseball note, Daniel, that'll make you laugh. Florida just beat Tennessee, the number 1 ranked team in college basketball, by 30.
Wow. Oh, they were beating the crowd, dude. It was 19 and
There's been a lot of people who said this Tennessee team has not played anybody yet. You know that. And sure enough, here we are, first team play. And we don't even, we're not even hating on them, Mick, but we are Memphis fans. And Tennessee fans like to talk bad about us as the little brothers on the other side of the street. So
interesting.
Yeah, man. I wish I had that drop still, a penny. But I'll hold off because we got to get to a game.
Look, I'll tell you this, Daniel. I was charged $42 to park in Nashville this past weekend. In Memphis, I wouldn't have that happen. I'm just saying.
Nope, exactly. They're not doing that to you. No. Blue collar down there.
That's funny.
You know what it's about. All right, Mick, you ready to play a game?
Absolutely.
All right, you're going to be the 505th guest to ever play this game.
Wow.
It's a big deal. So if you say no that you're not going to play, like, you'd be the one and only.
Yeah. Wow. Got me reconsidering my decision then.
I feel like somebody at some point is going to be like, you know what? I'm good.
I mean, for the most part, everybody gets it pretty easy. I've given a couple of guys the quote unquote championship edition, and they may have regretted playing, but I didn't do that to Mick, so he's good.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You're good. All right, Mick, it's real easy. I'm going to give you 2 options. You choose one option or the other. Can't say both, can't say neither. Just be decisive. Go with your head, go with your heart, go with your gut. Just pick one.
Okay.
Very simple. Jim, this or that. Who's it brought to you by?
All right, so it's a little different tonight. I went and seen our boy, Dr. Victor Robinson at Relief Chiropractic.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something, Daniel. We're talking about this cold weather, and we're talking about, talking with Mick about being inside. The whole Hernando baseball team was coming out of base sports performance when I came in there because it's definitely too cold to practice out in the 25-degree weather. But luckily, they got a facility big enough. But Dr. Vic took care of me. He gave me this little ad to run, so here we go.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Dr. Victor Robinson. I am located right here inside of the Gatorade Fieldhouse. It's located off of 1582 Green Tea Road in Hernando, Mississippi. What I want you to do is get on my website, reliefchirohernando.com, click that link in my bio on my social medias, and come in and let me take care of you.
So there you go, Daniel. I don't even gotta do any set. It's there, man.
It's there. The magic hands. He's rejuvenating lives and adding years to folks' life. Like, go see Dr. Vic. He'll hook you up, man. Make you feel good. All right, Mick, let's get into this, man. First question out the gate. Coffee or energy drink?
Oh, coffee for sure. That's an easy one.
coffee. Are you so Jim has been partaking, finally got this dude to drink some brew some coffee, and he's throwing sugar and milk and anything like Skittles. He's throwing anything that's gonna sweeten this thing up. But how do you take your coffee?
Really anything, honestly, black or with cream and sugar doesn't really matter. I mean, I've been drinking coffee for
You're refreshing today, and we've had energy drink for the last like 4 or 5, but if they do say coffee, they sure don't say black.
Yeah.
Man, I am one of the few people that I drink coffee because I really like the way it tastes. Like, I like different beans, different roasts. I like it all. Like I have an espresso machine, and it like
Let
it
me
does
tell you
the
something.
pods.
When we were in
But
Omaha, this
it's
cat
awesome.
made me drive him by Starbucks every single morning on the way to the stadium. I'm
Look,
like,
stop.
Yeah.
All right, he's making it sound like we had to make this 15-minute out of the way trek.
Right.
It was in the same parking lot.
I'm just saying that Starbucks was. You literally told me we have to. Like it wasn't an option.
We did.
And then all I had to do was get me cups of ice for my Monster that was not cold.
No, you were drinking them hot monsters in there. But all right, next one, and this is, it hurts me to even say this.
Well, I'm doing this because of a teammate of his, so I'm
Interesting.
serious.
Biggs, sunflower seeds, or the greatest sunflower seeds of all time ever, the goat.
Is this a trick question?
Wait, now you just answer.
I mean,
I like Biggs. I'm going with Biggs.
Oh, another one. And this
that's
is Cade
everybody.
Wood's
Have a
fault.
good
This
night.
is Cade Wood's fault. Coming on there, talking about throw some Skittles in there. You know what are we doing?
Yeah,
here?
I've never heard that before. That was crazy when I saw that.
Well, here let me help you out and everybody else. We don't do bigs here. Shout out Chinooksy. Daniel, they were at the ABCA this past weekend. Hopefully they were educating all these other coaches to not put bigs in their dugout.
Bigs.
Yeah, I'm going with Biggs.
Big pile of never mind.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
You know,
I'm not here to disparage anybody's product, but they ain't Chinook. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, fair. Chinook's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what, Daniel? He hasn't had the combo. And here, just because he did that, look at that top right logo. Boom. It just went from Memphis City Design. We got to fix that. Smoke and toast. All right, I'm gonna challenge you. Once you get some cinnamon toast and some smokehouse barbecue, mix it together, mix it in the bag, grab a few of each. I'm telling you, Daniel named it Smoke and Toast. We have not had a bad review yet.
Really? Okay, I'm on it.
Jim, when's your first baseball trip to the box?
The opening weekend against Omaha.
Mick, you'll have some smoke and toast. Jim,
let me tell you, Daniel, I have the best thing ever. That it is a double header because luckily they scheduled the baseball game for 2:00, and then the gymnastics meet against Oklahoma is not till 8:00, and get to do both. Don't even got to rush from one or the other.
That's what happens when you win a national championship, man. They make sure that people are able to come see you.
They really should. I hate when they're both at the same time, man.
Yeah, like if you have two powerhouse programs going, pun intended, like you should make sure that your fans can see as much of those as possible. It's only right. Like to me, like as an AD, as a business, entrepreneur, like that should be dollar signs just floating in the air.
I just know that they better play well because he tried to say it doesn't get that cold that often, but I've been to some games at the box in February. It ain't the warmest and delightful. So if they go out there and look like crap and I got to freeze at the same time, I ain't gonna be happy.
It can get pretty chilly in there.
Well, we'll warm it up with this question.
Okay, we go next.
You ready to go to the lake or the beach?
Ooh. I'm gonna go with the lake. Yeah.
Lake is the right answer if you have a boat.
In Utah.
What'd you say?
What's that famous lake in Utah?
Lake Tahoe?
Yeah. Bear Lake, maybe? Lake Tahoe. Oh, I don't know. I gotta think about that. There's the one.
Where's Lake Tahoe at?
I think that's California.
Oh, is it?
Like the one in southern Utah has like the Red Rock. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. That one.
Powell. It's Lake Powell.
Wow. Okay.
Definitely probably better than the lakes in Mississippi. I can guarantee that.
Ooh,
All right. Unis, purple or gold?
Oh, man, I like both. I mean, there's nothing really like the
You
Sunday
can't say
gold.
both.
I'm going with gold. I like the Sunday gold.
The gold is taking
Sunday
back
gold.
over, Daniel, post 2023. Because I'll be honest, Mick, everybody was saying purple that year because they said that meant Paul was pitching.
Interesting. That's fair. That makes sense.
All right, would you rather rob a home run or hit a home run?
I like robbing a homer. I feel like that's so much more uncommon. First off, and then it's also such more of like a gut punch to
What a
the hitter, you know? Like if you hit a homer off a pitcher, like sometimes, you know, it's kind of like they get on the mound and it's like, okay, like right
That's
back
my
to it.
people,
But like
man.
robbing a homer, that like ruins a guy's night. Like
Defense wins championships. Look, we were in Omaha. Ethan, or not, what was I say? Ethan, Jace Laviolette robbed the home run to win the game. That's the epic moment right there.
Look, I'll be honest. If you put me in a game, I think I have a better shot of robbing a home run than hitting one.
Fair.
So, all right, rom-com or scary movie?
Oh man. Honestly, I'm really not a scary movie fan. Like I'll take rom-com, but I feel like scary movies now are kind of just like, I don't know. I'm not really a fan anymore.
That's why I left this on here for a guy, Daniel. Usually this is the question, obviously, for the girls, but I thought, you know, most guys want an action flick. So if you're to go one or the other,
yeah. Which one are you gonna go with? You know, I'm not gonna say either is top 3, but you know, I'll take rom-com.
Hey,
what's the best baseball movie?
Oh, the best baseball movie. I mean, I gotta go with Sandlot. I mean, it was filmed in Salt Lake, filmed in Utah, so I mean,
I didn't know that. Look, what you learn.
Exactly. Yeah.
Can you do like a Sandlot tour in Salt Lake?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think a lot of the spots have kind of been like redone, unfortunately.
Did you know that, Daniel?
No, I didn't.
I mean, I even went to that thing that they had at the Redbird Stadium where they had the guy who produced it, and they obviously had the same dog, but not the same dog as in the movie. And we watched it out on the field and everything, on the Jumbotron and everything, and nobody said nothing about Utah.
Really? That's crazy.
That's wild. All right, let's get into some football.
Okay.
Penn State, Notre Dame. Who you got?
I'm going with Notre Dame, honestly.
Notre Dame.
My mom's a Notre Dame alum, so I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be a good game. Who do you guys got?
I got Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I had Notre Dame picked to make it to the championship from the jump, even before everything played out. I think that Northern Illinois loss really just threw everybody off, but they have been lights out, especially defense.
We talked about this, and it's really hard for me to pick Notre Dame. I think they're the better team, but Notre Dame always finds a way to Notre Dame.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
And Northern Illinois is that game that like you go, well, if they have that type of performance, and it's possible because they already did, they're going to lose. If you pick Penn State's worst game, I still think their worst game is good enough to beat Notre Dame playing their worst game.
Here's what's crazy to what Mika was saying earlier about the Ohio State-Oregon thing. This is why I didn't like the way it shook out, and to his point, them playing each other, I would take Oregon to beat either of them.
Wow.
Oh, I would too.
Yeah. I think the Penn State advantage, though, for their home field advantage, like I can't remember who they played. I think it was Boise State or whatever, their first game. But like you could just tell there was so much like chaos, or it might have been SMU, but like they had a hard time like calling snaps, like getting the plays right. I don't know if they're playing at Penn State or what, or if they're playing somewhere else, but I think if you take away that element, like it might be harder for them to have as dominant of a performance.
To your point on that, Daniel, if LSU was to make the playoff next year, I would actually not want them as a top 4 because I want to be a part of a home playoff crowd.
There.
It would be crazy.
Shit.
That would be nuts.
That would be just ridiculous. I'm disappointed that Boise State didn't get a home playoff game because I think that would have been just
Smurf turf
lights. That would have been just unbelievable. But hey, it is.
I will say one
what
thing
it
that
is.
came out of that game. I mean, Genty still, even though he didn't have the biggest night ever, he still got over 100 yards. I was surprised he even got that because going in that game, I was like, I literally would put 9 in the box and be like, you're going to have to beat me doing anything but running.
Yep.
Fair.
Yeah, for sure. All right. You got that one. What about Texas and Ohio State?
That's a great. Oh my gosh. I'm going with Ohio State, honestly. They've been rolling, and I don't know. I mean, Texas is uber talented, but I think Ohio State kind of has that next level. I mean,
All about getting hot at the right time.
Yeah.
I mean, what you have to remember is Texas is playing in Dallas.
That's
This
true.
game is being played in Dallas. And
yeah, that's going to be crazy.
I get it. Ohio State's going to travel well, and it's going to seat 100,000 people, but there's going to be an overwhelmingly burnt orange in the stands. But even with that, I think Ohio State's going to mop the floor with these.
What
Really?
blowout? We had an Alabama moment, the Jalen Hurts Tua thing. What if Texas is losing, Quinn Ewers goes down, and then Arch Manning comes in and just rolls? That'd be crazy. Storybook.
Everybody's going to be picking up their phone for the transfer portal. They're going to be like, Arch, come on over. All right. Notre Dame. Who'd you take? Texas or Ohio State?
Notre Dame. Oh, Ohio State. I'm taking Ohio State for this one.
All right. Notre Dame, Ohio State. Let's just.
Interesting. Ohio State. Yeah.
I mean, all these people wanting Ryan Day's head. They're going to be.
Seriously, he's really keeping receipts.
Yeah, he should be. I mean,
we're not even worried about this year, Daniel. I don't know if you've paid attention, but year 2 of our transfer quarterbacks, man, I'm just telling you, the Nussbus going to win the Heisman next year. We're going to be in this thing. Just wait.
Nussmeyer, give me a break,
bro. Dude. If he was to go in the draft right now, arm talent alone, he's the best quarterback.
I mean, who's he throwing to? Another receiver that's going to be like, hey, I know I'm really good. I'm just going to sit out.
No, we got keep laughing. Okay, keep laughing. You just lost your franchise 5-year quarterback in Memphis. Who y'all going to?
We got Brian Silverfield on the case. I mean, we do have a 4-star quarterback that's coming in, like the highest.
I ain't never seen him throw a pass.
Neither have I. He's, but there's this thing called the transfer portal. It's wild. Like you could just pick up the phone and call somebody, and they have experience.
Smith says he's out of money. He's out of money.
No, Memphis
basketball.
Is
going under.
Memphis basketball is solidifying that check.
Might be out of luck.
No, FedEx is never going to run out of money. So Fred Smith ain't. And as Daniel said, even though he keeps giving and is not exactly getting what he's supposed to in return, he's not going to stop.
The thing is as he gets older, he wants them to win it before he dies. So the money, he's just going to shell out more money. He's going to be like, what is the price tag this year? 14 mil? All right, here you go. 20 mil? All right, let's get it done. All right, last question. 5 years in jail, 10 years in a coma.
Dang.
Yeah, save the best for last. Make you think a little bit before you get out of here.
I'm taking 5 years in jail, honestly. I mean, just for the fact that, like, you're probably going to, learn a lot in there. You're probably not going to, take stuff for granted.
I'll say this before you crush him, Daniel. I'll say this. One of my favorite things to follow on social media is somebody who hates social media is all the guys behind bars stuff, Daniel. Somebody with his kind of faith is somebody who can find the right situation while he's in there.
I mean,
you also got to think though. You're in there because you did.
I'm going to respectfully disagree.
Did something wrong.
You could have been set up. You could have been framed.
Yeah, that's the only thing. That's the only exception is if I'm framed.
Let me ask you a question, Mick. This was not planned, and Daniel, I'll ask you too. I watch all these shows, and they get especially this like Law and Order type deals, and so they'll give them the plea, and you can get 10 years or whatever, or you can go to court and you could possibly end up like 25 to life.
Ooh.
Like I feel like even if I was innocent, but they were trying to take me to trial, like I would have to take the 10. Like just the simple fact that if I lose, it's 25 to life. Would you?
Right. Ooh. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm fighting. Give me the 25 to life.
No, man, that's a long time.
It is long. It is
Daniel,
long.
you're pleading. I know you are.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then you're gonna be like, "What do I get for good behavior? We doing 5?"
Yeah. What do I got to do? That's it.
I'm whatever extra credit like at school, right?
Yep. What's my extra credit? What do I got to do? Like, tell me what it is, and I'm gonna do that.
Except you might be in for a long time, and then they find out you're innocent, so they have to don't they pay you or something? So isn't that
enough money to pay me if you those kind of situations where they always like get somebody out who was innocent the whole time. Like,
look, you're not gonna get back. Like, they could give you a lot of money, but you're not gonna get back what you gave up. That's true.
When you talk about the ultimate act of forgiveness, you having to forgive somebody who put you in jail when you were innocent. Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, the first night when you walk in your cell and you take the bottom bunk, and on the top bunk, this is what you hear.
That's crazy.
The moment the door shuts, though, man, it becomes real. Like, you're locked in a cage.
You're locked.
Give me 10 years in a coma, and I'll figure it out when I wake up. I ain't going to stop. All right, Mick. Anything you want to plug or promote before you get out of here?
No, not really, honestly. Yeah, just appreciate you guys having me on.
I'll help you out. When's the first game?
First game. I think we're 38 days away. I think countdown.
February 14th, Omaha at home.
Yeah, 38.
Valentine's Day. You're gonna send love letters in the form of W's.
Exactly.
All weekend.
Have to.
Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you taking some time, carving out a little bit of time for us. As always, we hope you have a successful season, a healthy season, stay injury free. And hey, who knows? You guys might go on this mad run, and it might be a magical season. You might be hoisting another national championship trophy at the end. And when you do, you got to come back on, and we got to talk about it, man.
Yes, sir. I'm planning on it.
That is Mick Paul, everybody. If you like Mick's story, or you just like hearing us average Joes talk X's and O's, please like and share the podcast on Facebook. Retweet us on X. Listen and subscribe wherever you stream your podcast. Going over to Memphis City Design and pick up your In Off the Bench hoodie. It's cold. The cold snap is here. It is freezing in Florida. And guess what? No better way to warm up and feel good with that 50% polyester, 50% cotton, pillowy. Woo! Just makes me feel good looking at it. Going over to Memphis City Design. Get your In Off the Bench hoodie while supplies last. They got all the colors in your team's color. Pick it up, check it out, support us, support the brand. And we'll see everybody tomorrow night. Dalton Bargo, University of Tennessee baseball. We'll be here. We're out. In Off the Bench. Strong body, sharp minds, great and grind all the time.